Hey everyone, welcome back to Caffeinated Sims. I have my good vibes cup with some coffee in it. I hope you have a nice warm beverage. Well, it's kind of cold where I'm at. I don't know about you, but I am going to start another challenge. It's going to be a legacy challenge. It's going to be Taylor Swift's Eras challenge. So I'm super excited about that. I will link where I found this challenge in the description below. But essentially, we're going to go through Taylor Swift's eras and have different generations for each. I'm going to show you right up there the first generation that we're going to be doing, the debut generation, and what all that requires. And I'm super excited to get started. So let's get going. All right, let's build our Taylor Swift sim. I'm going to, since this is a generational challenge, I'm going to start with Taylor Swift for generation one. And then as the generations go on, I might change the names. But I'm thinking start with generation one as Taylor Swift, and then maybe the last generation as Taylor Swift also. But this is the sim I built for her. And I remember back when she was a rising star, the tabloids and the paparazzi and everyone was like, why doesn't she show her belly button when she wears like a bathing suit or just normal clothes? So for this generation, at least of Taylor Swift, I made sure to add that in to her outfits and everything, just because I remember that was a big deal back then. It was kind of funny at the same time, but I wanted to add that in. This was the hard part because her starting house fund has to be only 15,000 simoleons. And so to figure out where to have her live was a little bit of a challenge because I wanted her to live maybe in like an apartment kind of a deal for her living arrangements, but all the places here were super expensive where 15,000 simoleons would not have sufficed for her to live. And since it's generation one and she has to start with such few simoleons, I decided I'd probably just build her own house in a different world that I have. I do like Chestnut Ridge, but I think I'm going to build her house here mainly because it has, well, natural light, and then it has great acoustics, and she wants to be a singer. So we're going to give her an area that has the best acoustics for her to play her guitar on. Like I said, I'm doing generation one, and so if you all missed what we need to do for this generation, I will tell you. So first, we need to have a starter home budget of 15,000 simoleons, which is going to be hard for me to build her a house with that view because I'm used to building like bigger houses. But I decided for this one, I was going to try to make it as small as I can, which I mean, it's not that small, I suppose. But I made her a bathroom and then a kind of an efficiency style house, I suppose you could say. So her bedroom, her living room, and her kitchen are all in one other area to save on some money that she has. That way she can have a painted house and a house with some flooring, because normally what I run into the problem of is building everything in the house and then not having enough money for floor or wallpaper. And then my sim is just in a constant state of being uncomfortable because the house does not fit the standard of living that they want. So we're going to try to stay within budget for building this house and give her all the necessities like a computer and a guitar and maybe a violin so that she can raise her um, musical ability. Because in generation one, not only does she start with a 15,000 simoleon budget for her house, but she needs to have the entertainer career, which makes a lot of sense for Taylor Swift's Eras tour. So she's going to join the entertainer career. And then she needs to have the musical genius aspiration, which I also have for her. So this will be interesting. I haven't done uh Sims playthrough with that career and that aspiration. So it'll be interesting to see what I can do with my Eras Tour Sims. So we have her joining the entertainer career, and then we already have the aspiration for the musical genius. And then I built her house of 15,000 simoleons. So I have those, and I can't keep progressing with them right now, but I have those checked off the list. And so the next two things I need to do is I need to have her fall in love with a musician and then have one to two kids. And that's where I'm going to have to think of different names for the kids as I go through the generations. And I just essentially I want generation one to be Taylor Swift, and then maybe my last generation just to kind of go full circle with her and her different generations. So she can have one to two kids, and then, which will be really difficult for me because I struggle with raising kids in The Sims. My sim never can seem to balance a career and her own self care and raising kids. So we'll see how this goes with my sim. I think I'm going to have her go through most of her career and then have kids possibly, but we need to practice music and get her raises because right now she has probably not even enough money to pay her bills with. So we're going to work on that along with making some friends. And we have to keep an eye out to find her a fellow musician to fall in love with because that's everything I need to get done before generation one is over with. So even though I'm doing good on time right now because it's the beginning and she's a young adult, I can very easily lose track of time and then the challenge is over because I forgot a specific thing within the challenge itself. So once I get all those rules and requirements done for Taylor Swift herself, then when she has a child, whichever child is going to be continuing the generational tree, I'm going to need to have that child have an artistic trait and we'll need to be able to complete the social butterfly aspiration. So it's a lot to get done, and I'm going to try my best to do generation one correctly in order to be able to move on to generation two. I'm really excited about this generational challenge because I haven't really done one. And I'm not sure how how fast I can get this one. Not fast, but how well I can get this generation one done because I only have one generational Sims group, and that was my like original one with Summer that had like 15 children, and that got out of control really fast. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen with this one. I still like going back and playing my Sim family with Summer. It's just it's a little out of control right now. It kind of causes me a little bit of stress when I play that one. Why can't she go in here? Oh, she needs to be somewhat famous to be able to enter this area. I wanted her to get more fame by like singing in front of groups of people, but apparently this one's too prestigious for her being a debut singer, so we're going to have her move on to some other place in this world. The Get Famous pack is one of my newer packs that I have, so I don't really know it super well. So if y'all have any hidden tips or tricks, feel free to leave it in a comment below and I will totally read that. If I can get her to rise in fame faster, it would be very, very ideal. A very ideal situation. Okay. This one, oh yeah, this one is like the lower standard of fame and singing area. It doesn't have very much gold or anything with it. So I think we're in the correct spot for her to start becoming a rising star. She should probably practice singing. Maybe she can get more fame through doing that. Oh, There's a guitar there. We should have her play the guitar too. That way, because I remember with her debut, Teardrops on My Guitar was one of my favorite songs. I had that on a playlist for a for a long time. I thought it was a really pretty song that she wrote. And so she played the acoustic guitar quite a bit with her rise to fame, even though she doesn't really do that now as much because she's in a different era, of course. But for this one, I think I want her to get like max level for guitar, mainly because that was her big thing back in the first generation, was playing an acoustic guitar in most of her songs and music that she wrote. That was like a focal point in that situation. So I think we're going to have her work on playing some music on her guitar also. It looks like when she sings, people will give her money, which will be nice because, again, I don't think she has enough money to pay the bills for her house, unfortunately, because I always run into this problem with my Sims. But, like, I've gotten better because, like I said, Summer like is the first family that I've actually played through with. But before that, when I was first learning The Sims, I created too big of a house, and they didn't have as high of an income, and then their electricity got turned off quite frequently, which was a bummer because I always wanted my Sims to be okay. So I gave up on all those and deleted them within like a day. And then I ended up with Summer's house when I finally figured out you actually have to have money to pay utilities. And so then Summer and her family are doing just fine. She's like top level programmer, has her 14 or 15 kids at this point now. One of her kids has decided to be a criminal, which kind of tracks with the whole storyline I've made up with her. But I just it's a hot mess in that world. And every so often I'm like, it'll be okay. I can play them again. They'll be fine. And then I go and play them again. I'm like, yeah, this is why I don't play Summer's family very often, is because every time I go back to her house, she has like 10 more children. And I'm like, at some point you will have too many kids. And so can you stop? And yeah, so that whole family tree is huge. It's very large right now. But I like how I got Taylor Swift done, and she's slowly getting fame and money, and it looks like finally I probably have enough for her to pay bills, which would be ideal. And so we'll go home and try to get a game plan on how to play this first generation and see what happens um, with this one. All right, Generation 1 is done and ready to go for the Taylor Swift Eras Challenge. And just in case you missed it, right here is where I'll put again the information for Generation 1. And I hope to see you next time with Coffee and Sims. Have a great day.